Alright, so I'm telling my buddy a story about a roommate of mine that I had. Okay, so I had a roommate. Okay, this has recently happened, so I'm gonna tell you the story. So this is a roommate I had named Sabrina. Okay, that's Sabrina. All right. Okay, she happened to be a black belt, 20-year-old black belt, and I had her living with us for about just a couple of months. Okay, but the story is kind of strange. Well, you kind of make the determination what you thought of the story. Okay. All right. The story begins in 1995, 96, something. Yeah, 1996, January. Okay. So January 1996. Like what? January 1996, long time ago. I was 21 years old, and I'm it's the beginning of the year, and one of the things was that my mom was dying of cancer. Okay, so I spent probably about the last 6 months being by her bedside and stuff like that, making sure she was okay. But what ended up happening was they determined her as terminal. Okay, terminal cancer. So I was fighting it the whole time about morphine, giving her morphine, because I knew if it's morphine, there's no going back. It's really to ease the pain. Nothing's gonna work anymore. She's gonna die. So they told me, hey, one day they go, we're gonna have to, do you decide on the morphine? I said, yeah, fine. We're gonna go with the morphine. We're gonna do the morphine. Okay. So we decided to get the morphine. I did. So I was driving my car, picked up the morphine, and I'm driving on the freeway. Okay. And obviously I'm emotionally I'm messed up. And the car in front of me moves out of the way, and there's a truck parked in the middle of the 5 freeway. So I slam on the brakes, crash, and then I went underneath the truck, so the tire goes boom, 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 right up to my face. Right. Whole front hood, smashed window right up to my face. I just walked out. And I was fine. No scratch, not hurt, nothing. And it looked like somebody died in that car, right? And I should have died right there, right? So they told the car. I see my mom that night, and the next day she dies. Giving her CPR, they resuscitate her, it doesn't work. She dies at home, right? So, a couple days later, or a week later, or something like that, I'm at the funeral. And after the funeral, everyone's coming back to our house, saying their condolences and having a light, whatever, some basic food prepared, and everyone's kind of, saying their stuff, right? And I'm in the room by myself, with actually a friend of mine. The phone rings. And I pick up, I go, hello, and they go, this is Cinex Casting. Right, it's an extra casting place, right, for extras, background work. So I haven't heard from them in a while because I was off in college and I wasn't even doing that anymore, but I was on the list. So what they called me and they said, hey, listen, we got a big old casting thing coming up. We're calling a bunch of people. We need hundreds of people, gang members, background work. Are you available on this day? And I said, yeah, that's fine. Because the last 6 months I've been in a hospital, right? Don't go out, just pretty much watching my mom get worse and worse. So I went, it's a way to get out, right? Yeah. Get my head in the clear. So I went, yeah, that's fine. So I got a call at the funeral, at the day of the funeral, right? At the house at night. And they don't call. They usually got to call in to try to get the thing, right? So it was, my car's messed up, so my sister drops me off there, and I figured I'd get a ride back. And it's a night shot. Alan, you gotta hear the story. So it's a night shot. It's at the old LA Sports Arena. They booked out the whole place. There's hundreds of people. They're all dressed like gang members. black gangs, wearing leather jackets, black sunglasses, having shotguns. And it looked pretty freaking scary. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that we're there as actors, background, it looked scary, right? Like looks like the Crips, a whole bunch of Mexican gang members, Asian gang members, stuff like that, right? Post-apocalyptic kind of story like that, right? So, hey. I'm telling this story, right?
Yeah.
So, Alan, could you grab me that? Could you grab me that folder right there?
Oh.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, and the water. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
thanks.
No, he's going crazy.
Yeah, so there's a reason because I put notes on here. So what ended up happening was.
I wrote a book, so he's doing story and videotaping.
Yeah, videotaping. So what ends up happening was, I go to the casting thing. There's hundreds of people there. They look at me and they go, you know what? We're gonna put you up in a really nice outfit, and we're gonna have you as Group A, which is right in front of the camera. They wanted Group A, and then Group B are not as good looking, and Group C are the ones that just photographs, the background work, right? So the Group A has all the guns, and stuff like that. By the time back here, they got rubber guns, right? So. Group A has the better costumes, background work is not as good. So they told me I was Group A. I'm supposed to be right there in front of the camera, but I happened to meet a bunch of cool people here, so I was in Group C. I guess I'll just hang out here, right? So I wasn't where I was supposed to be. Right? They told me, hey, all the A's come down here. And all these wannabe actor guys are all like, oh, let me get in front of the camera, right? But I'm like, I didn't care. I wasn't there to try to be an actor. I was just like, get out of the house, right? So I stayed up here with a group of people. I was was there out probably like 8 hours or something throughout the night. Spent time just talking with, a bunch of these background people around me, right? I talked to an old lady. I talked to guys, girls. It didn't really matter. I was just talking to whoever was there. And this one particular girl I was talking to, beautiful girl, and I was talking to her, and she came out here to become a model and an actress, right, from Texas. She was a Thai girl, and she was actually Miss Thai Texas, right? So, and then they finally said cut, after 8 hours, going rah, being a gang member kind of thing. I spent some time talking to her, probably about 5 of those hours, but I talked to a bunch of people. So at the end of the night, I'm walking away, and then I see her, so I say, hey, if I never see you again, it was nice meeting you, right? So I kept on walking. So she goes like, okay. She comes up to me later, finds me, and goes like, hey, let's, maybe we should grab some Thai food sometime, right? And one of the conversations we were having was about, food and stuff, so it made perfect sense. So I said, yeah, that's fine, but you'd have to come pick me up, right? So this is beautiful girl, and I'm telling this girl, I got the nerve to tell this girl, you gotta come pick me up. So she goes, pick you up? I go, yeah, I don't have a car. So she's living in Glendale, and I'm like in Monterey Park, so it's 25 minutes away or whatever. So she comes by, so a couple nights later, so she gives me her phone number. Apparently I forgot to give her mine. A couple days later, I call the girl, and we go like, yeah, let's go see this performance, and then we'll grab some Thai food. So she comes by to the house. She finds my house, and when she pulls up, she comes up. She could see there's this totaled car, on my driveway, right? Destroyed, right? So rings the doorbell. I come out, and as we're walking out, she's looking at the car. What's up with this car, right? And I go, oh, yeah, I got in an accident last week, right? So all I told her was, well, I don't have a car. I don't have a car, right? I didn't tell her I crashed the car. I just said I don't have a car. But she was committed, so she came and picked me up. So she must have thought like, okay, well the guy's not a total loser. I at least have a car. I just crashed it. I didn't say I crashed it. I just said I don't have a car. Yeah. So at least that was okay. So, and then we leave. We have a great night, right? We go to a couple places and stuff like that. We had a great night. And actually, we went to go see a performance at a theater that I used to perform at, which was kind of neat. Had some drinks, went to Hollywood, ate some Thai food, which was great. Came back to the house, and when we come back to the house, she's like going, you know, and I was young, I was 21, and this girl was 26, so it's older than me, 5 years older than me. So she was going, she picked me up at my house, so she's asking like, oh, so who lives here with you, right? Common question, you know, I mean, not, where's your parents kind of thing, right? I'm 21. So I go, well, my dad's lives in somewhere in LA. They're divorced, but and it's me and my sister and my mom's husband. You know, but she passed away. My mom passed away, and she goes, when? I go, well, you know, it was probably about a week before I met you, right? So I must have spent at least 6-7 hours talking to this girl, and I had never mentioned that my mom had passed away. In fact, I wasn't really talking about myself at all, very much. I was pretty much talking about her, right? So that was our first night that we went out. Eventually, 8 months later, I married this girl. We go through a 20-year relationship. Okay, ups and downs, you know, separations, back together, stuff like that. We have 4 kids together, right? 4 kids. Recently, we were finally called it quits. We separated, fully separated, fully done. I'm still in contact with her, everything like that. So I needed, you know, I thought I needed help because I was primarily taking care of the kids most of the time. And I have 4 kids, two 14-year-old girls, 11-year-old, and a 5-year-old, right? So, 5-year-old son. So I needed some help. So I just placed an ad on Craigslist. Okay. And all of a sudden, this one girl answers the ad, and her and I talk on the phone. And she goes, well, you need some help? Is that what you need? I go, yeah, I just need some help here. And she goes, well, I'm also a black belt. And I did post a image of Instagram on there, so she knew I was into martial arts. So I was like, okay, you know, oh, you're into you're also a black belt. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. So so I said, yeah, come on by, right? And she came by, and when she came by, she was right at my gate. I'm in an apartment complex, a long walkway. They have to walk all the way up the stairs to finally get to my apartment area through the gate. So she's all the way at the bottom of this gate, opens the door, you know, I buzz her in, right? As soon as I buzz her in, I have a special cat named Bella, okay? Bella is this cat that not only has she introduced me to a lot of people, which is kind of interesting, but she follows me around, okay? This cat right here, Bella, okay? You know, follows me around, you know, sometimes for an hour, you know, and brings me gifts and stuff like that, right? So brings me gifts, you know, follows me around. She's kind of cool, you know. She's very, very protective, kind of like that. Okay, so this cat. So apparently, what happened was she walks to the gate and this cat's waiting for her down there. I didn't tell Bella to go get her. She's just waiting for her, apparently. So she walks to the gate and she sees Bella right standing there. So she pets this cat, right? And Bella turns and walks in front of her and escorts her up to my apartment here, right? So she's calling me on my cell phone. I come downstairs and I see her. I go, oh, hello, you're Sabrina, right? She goes, yeah. I show her around the apartment complex, and Bella's following us throughout the whole place, like going. It's like probably 10-15 minutes, just me slowly walking around to the apartment complex. It's a huge apartment complex. Take her to one pool, take her to another pool. Kind of show her around where the gym is at, stuff like that. And Bella's following us the whole time, right? Which is not unusual because you know, she follows me anyways, right? Goes like that. And then that was neat. And then I said, you know, there's been a couple applicants, so let me call you in a couple days. So eventually, we decide that to move forward, to move in. Okay. Now she, 20 years old, was a single mom. Okay. And the thing with her was she had some bad things that happened, and she had lost custody of her daughter. Okay, she had a boyfriend, and she had lost custody of her daughter. So what she needed to happen was that she actually needed to move out of her place so her grandmother could get custody, right? So then, because she couldn't be in proximity of her daughter without supervision or something, which was unfortunate. So she actually had to move out for this to happen. So she was good that she get to move in with me, right? Mm-hmm. So that was fine. And then a couple of times, the cool thing we arranged, I goes, oh, you're a Taekwondo black belt, that's fine. My daughters are the two oldest one are karate black belts. So I said, why don't you teach them Taekwondo in the mornings as part of your, exchange for rent, right? So it was just like exchange. Help me out a couple days and it's free rent. And that was kind of the arrangement. Includes meals and stuff like that. I used to be a foreign exchange student, so it's cool, to do something like that. So she was doing that, and then she was teaching the karate classes, right? I mean the Taekwondo classes, which was great. So a couple of the nights, we just kids maids in there or something, and I got to get to know her, right? And this is the thing that I thought was a little odd. So I wrote them down because there's a couple of them, and this is what ended up happening. Okay, so first things first, she had made some mistake, lost custody of her daughter, and was dealing with like the police and child protective services. So was I at that exact moment, right? And the police had been in there, and we were being investigated in child protective services, right? And on top of that, Summertime, because we had separated, I had pretty much had primary custody of her because she wasn't at a place that the kids could be there with her, so they stayed with me all the time. And so for the last couple of years, I was full custody. So Summertime didn't have the opportunity to really be a mother to her children. She would visit, but wasn't actually a mother to her children, like being able to take that responsibility, right? For the last couple of years. So that was similar right there. So it starts off with that. Okay. Then on top of that, I find out that her father was a boxer, right? So I went, oh, okay. My father is a black belt, right? Okay. She has two siblings, two girls that are older than her, and one half brother. Three girls, one boy. My daughter, 3 girls, 1 boy, right? Her father would make her and her brother box, right? Mm-hmm. Natalie boxes with Brandon, right? She's the only one who boxes Brandon because they're about the same height. Her mom, which was unfortunate, at 35 had felt some kind of heart problem kind of thing, and then went to the doctor. The doctor gave her like long-term medication and died. 35, like just died. My mom didn't really die of cancer. She got cancer. Doctors were doing some stuff and died way before she should have. At 30. All right. So 39, 35, 39. Okay. So that's the father and the mom, and the siblings. Similar on that. Okay. All right. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. When she was in high school, she liked to go to different groups. So she wouldn't stick around one group. She liked to. Particular goes to like the Mexican group, which is what typically she's Mexican, right? So she would go to Mexican group, she would go to Asian group, white group, black groups, different groups to get different know different groups. That's basically what I was doing, right? I was cool with the Asians, whites, blacks. When I went to the other high schools, black and white, mostly it's all black and white. So I had to do that. Plus different groups within black, whites, and Mexicans. And there's the jocks, there's the cheerleaders, right? I had to associate with all of them, and I enjoyed doing that. So that was similar, right? One of the things that she also did was she goes like this. She shows me something. She likes to go to raves, right? Well, that's another thing. I like raves, house music. That's one. That's another one. But she goes to raves, and she showed me this thing where she's going like these glowing fingertips things, which is I guess very popular, right? But people do like the thing where they spin, but she does this thing with the glowing fingertip ones. They're glowing. And I go, really? Let me show you something. And I showed a video of me with these sparkly balls that I used to do, and I used to make them appear. Like I'd start with 1, I'd make 2, 3, 4, and 8 appear, and I'd perform that at Magic Castle's Comedy Store and a bunch of nightclubs. I would do that. I was kind of known for that. So that was like that, and she was like tripping out, and I go, yeah, look, and I made him appear in front of her. She was like taking a camera, recording it. So then I go, okay. Okay, black belt, I already mentioned that, right? She's a black belt on Taekwondo, WTF, which is World Taekwondo Federation black belt. I have the same black belt. One of the black belts I have is the same one. She wanted to be she's training to be a Taekwondo instructor for kids, right? And I was the karate instructor for kids and adults too, but kids, right? Which was where I was really having a lot of fun with the kids. She was caught. The reason she got a lot of the stuff was she was also caught stealing. Okay, and got in trouble. This was years ago, and long time ago. Not that I got caught stealing, but I had to deal with the FTC because they're trying to tell me that I was deceptive on some things. You know, I signed it saying no, I did not do anything deceptive, but it was kind of that same kind of dealing with that, right? Okay, Sabrina eventually she moves out, right? But let me not get ahead of myself. But she eventually moves out. The funny thing is, Summer Tai finally gets a place for the first time. The week Sabrina gets her child back, right? So now Summer Tai got her own place. So now she gets to be actually a parent. Not, hi, I'm your parent, and then walk away while I do everything else. She actually has to now parent her child. And Sabrina, for the first now, gets to actually parent her child that she had lost custody of, finally, the same week, right? So when Summer Tai got her custody, not her custody, but a place that she could stay, for the first time the kids were going to be with her half the amount of time, because it was supposed to be joint, but it was full because she didn't have a place for the kids to go. So the first week that happened, that now the kids get to stay with Summer Tai, Sabrina gets her child back so she doesn't have to live with me anymore. So she could go back home to her own child, right? So Sabrina wants to be an entrepreneur, so do I. I mean, I'm an entrepreneur, right? That's similar, right? Not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, right? She wants to be an entrepreneur. And the type of business was MLM companies. She was describing it, I go, oh, that's our MLM companies. That's what she was describing. Sabrina happened to be 20. I don't think this is kind of a stretch. She was 20, and this is one of the things that I was thinking was, oh, she's 20. You know, I should around have about a 19 or 20-year-old daughter or son right now, because I had 5 miscarriages, and the first one was a planned one, and we should have had a 19 or 20-year-old daughter, right, or son or daughter right now, and we had lost it. Right, so that was kind of thinking, I wonder if that's like that, you know, because a lot of the similar stuff was happening. Okay. Okay, so then what ends up happening is I also tell her about the story about Escape from LA. Somehow, some way, tell about the story about Escape from LA. Now, we had some time to have dinner together a couple times, right? And she was there, and I was also teaching her on how to become a better instructor. And there were some things that, since she grew up without her parents there, that she didn't understand, like some basic discipline stuff, like getting up in the morning, getting yourself ready, getting ready to be on time for school and work or stuff like that, right? She's never done this before, so I was coaching her through a lot of that stuff. I was also helping her with, she had gained some weight after she had her baby, so even doing weight loss, because she wanted to teach Taekwondo, and the instructor said you need to lose some weight, right? So I was showing her what to eat. I was watching her go, you can't eat that, right? You can't, like instant ramen by itself. You can't eat that. You gotta add vegetables here. Put double the amount of vegetables to the amount of noodles. Add this, right? You gotta eat that. She'd walk out the door without eating. I go, whoa, what did you eat? Well, I gotta run. I go, no, you gotta eat something. Your body's starving. That's why it's storing a lot of fat. And I was explaining that to her. So I was explaining stuff like, and she had lost I think it was like 15 pounds that she had lost while she was with me. She wanted to lose another 25, you know, so So she was doing that. That's not the neat story. So one of the stories that I was explaining to her was, I explained to her one time, I said, oh, let me tell you a story of how I met Summertime. Okay? So I told her that story, how I started this story. And I was going through I was at the file cabinet, I go, oh look, here. And I had the marriage certificate folder. And I opened it up and I pulled out this pink slip, right, that my Summertime had kept. That was the original Cinex casting pink slip that said the day that we were there on the movie set. Okay, and it was a movie called I forgot. The reason why we're all gang members and stuff was a movie. It was a cheesy movie back in the '90s called Escape from L.A. with Kurt Russell. Right. The movie before that was Escape from New York, Kurt Russell. And then they made another one, Escape from L.A. And really cheesy. It was kind of movie like that. Cult classic, but funky, cheesy movie. So she's going, oh, that's kind of neat. Oh, she kept that, right? I was mentioning about Summertime, like kept that. She's looking at it like that, and she had touched that, right? So that night she went home. She went to her boyfriend's place, right? And she came back the next day, and she goes, you know what's kind of interesting was, when I went to go see my boyfriend goes, hey, let's see this movie tonight. Guess what the movie was? Escape from LA. Right? Out of all the movies that she was like, Escape from LA, which is on Netflix or something like that. Mm-hmm. So that was like, she told me that story. I even got a chance to spar with her, which was kind of cool. There's a video of me sparring with her. Her and the kids connected well. She was doing the best she can. In fact, when she was out there doing the class, it was her, this 20-year-old girl, that it kind of seemed like I was mentoring her and helping her, like my own daughter, right? Because I had Adam and Curtis at one time that lived with me, which were Summertime's half brother and my cousin, since they were 5 to teenagers. Before Brandon was born. So I had 5 kids at my house before. 2 big boys, the teenage boys, and I had my 3 daughters before Brandon. So now I had my 4 kids, and I had this girl named Sabrina that was teaching them karate classes, Taekwondo classes, and it kind of felt like, hey, if I had my daughter or my son, this is what it would be like, right, of all the miscarriages, because it kind of was like all the similarities. It was kind of weird, and we gelled well, right? We gelled well. And I go, I wonder what this girl, if there's some connection to this. I mean, what are the odds of all these things happening, right? And again, it's like the mom, the similarities with the mom, the similarities with the dad, the similarities with the siblings, similarities with social life when it comes to the high school, right? The groups, the house music, the things with the fingers, right? The Taekwondo black belt, the instructor as a karate instructor, Taekwondo instructor, lost custody of her child, dealing with the Child Protective Services, so were we. Sabrina gets the daughter back the same week Summertime gets the daughter back. She wants to be an entrepreneur with MLM, so am I. She, boxed with her brother. I boxed, Natalie and her boxed with the brother, right? All these things, like, okay, right? It's very similar. I'm like, what the heck, right? So I go, wait a minute, let me go look. And I looked and I said, I wonder what her birthday is, right? So I go, I wonder if it's like she's born when my child had a miscarriage, right? That was what I initially had thought. So I went, oh, I know. When she moved in, I had her sign a lease agreement, right? So I looked like that, and I went, oh, here it is. And I opened it up, and I looked at her birthday. And it said, January 2nd, 1996. And I went, no, that was before I met Summertime. Right before I met Summertime. In fact, it was the month that I met Summertime from Cinex Casting. So no, that's not my child spirit or something like that. But I went January 2nd, 1996. And I texted Chia, my sister. I said, hey Chia, when did Mom die? And she goes, January 3rd. So I went, that was the day I had that horrible car accident. And when I had that car accident, I actually thought, like, this is kind of weird. Why did I walk out of here? I shouldn't have walked out of it, right? I thought, like, did it like a guardian angel, or maybe my mom saved me before she died the next day. I kind of thought that. It was kind of weird, and I lived life, as much as I can afterwards, appreciating it, because I could have died. I was, like, right there. And I went, you were born, I'm thinking, the day that I had that horrible car accident. So I did eventually tell this whole story to Sabrina. I told it to her. And I went to the very end and I said, does the date, January 2nd, 1996, mean anything to you? And she goes, that's my birthday. Right. So, that's what happened. And then I had told her the story afterwards, but before she moved out, when she told me that she got her daughter back, I was like, wow, congratulations. She was so happy. She got her stuff. I met her grandmother, the one that ended up raising her. She said that this must have been a blessing from God for her to be able to stay with somebody else, so she could get her daughter to move back into that home where she could not be, so she could fight it with the court that eventually she got custody back. They don't have any money, it's like they don't have, why don't I just move out? Move out to where? They can't just move out, right? They pay rent. She was not. So this was like, she goes, it must have been, like, this is, God created that. And I was talking to the grandmother, and I'm like, and we had very similar things, like we raised the children, and she goes, I have to let go. I have to stop doing all of it for them so they could do it. And I go, I was experiencing the same thing with obviously Alexis and Ashley, that I've been doing all of it for them, that it was hard for me to let go. And it was so hard for me to let go that when Sabrina moved in, she was supposed to help me. Since I wasn't even cooking for my daughters anymore, I would make her breakfast. And I go, what the hell am I doing? This is my help, right? I'm making her bacon. It's like eggs and like salad in the morning, but I'm also teaching her how to eat. Like listen, you need like protein with the vegetables to kind of cleanse your body out. You can't eat pastas and breads and stuff like that. That's what's having you gain weight, right? You're not eating very much, but you're eating all this stuff that's making you gain weight, right? A bagel is going to make you gain weight. This is this stuff. So I was teaching her that, and I had made her, like dinner a couple of times. It's like she thanks me, but I'm, she's supposed to help me, and I'm cooking for her, right? So I'm explaining the story to the grandmother. Daughter's cute, gorgeous, right? She's staring at me, beautiful. So after I saw all this, I called her up. I did call her up, and I said, hey, what are the similarities of all this stuff? And she goes, yeah. I go, if you need any help, like, call me anytime. In fact, it'd be my pleasure to mentor you on some things. There's odds of having this many connections. It's really bizarre, I'm thinking. If you need any help. And both her parents her first parent died, and her second parent, unfortunately, is bedridden and is going to pass away. His parents apparently inevitable. And her father is only like 37 or 38 too. 38, so younger than me. I'm 42, right? Mm-hmm. So I did offer that to her, and I'm still in contact with her. She's a little further away from Mona, about 30, 40 minutes from here. I don't know. But I'm gonna stay in contact with her. But that's the story. That's the story. So you guys watching this, that's the story. Put in your thoughts of what you just thought of that story. It's a real story, so put in your thoughts down below in the comment. Subscribe and share the video with anybody that has, if you know somebody that has like a spooky kind of similar story about meeting somebody that has that many kind of similar connections, and share that story, record a video or something. All right, bye.